Why do lottery winners go bankrupt within years, while self-made millionaires who lose everything rebuild their fortunes? Why do some people earn six figures and live paycheck to paycheck, while others earn half as much and build wealth? Why does giving a poor person money rarely make them permanently rich, while taking money from a wealthy person rarely makes them permanently poor? The answer has nothing to do with luck, connections, or circumstances. The answer is hidden in your brain, specifically in the neural pathways, beliefs, and thought patterns that either magnetize wealth or repel it right now. Your brain is programmed for your current financial reality, and unless you reprogram it, you'll stay exactly where you are, no matter how hard you work or how much you earned. You're about to discover why your financial thermostat is set at your current income level, why trying to get rich with a poor person's mindset is like trying to build muscle by thinking about the gym, and the exact mental reprogramming required to hardwire wealth into your brain. This isn't manifestation magic. This is neuroscience. Let's decode it. Imagine two people. Person A grows up wealthy. They see money flowing easily. They watch their parents make investments, take calculated risks, and speak about money with confidence and abundance. They absorb unconsciously that wealth is normal, attainable, and renewable. Money is a tool, not a source of anxiety. Person B grows up poor. They hear money doesn't grow on trees and rich people are greedy, and we can't afford that. They watch their parents stress about bills, avoid financial conversations, and treat money with fear and scarcity. They absorb unconsciously that money is scarce, hard to get, and something to worry about constantly. Fast forward 30 years. Person A makes a terrible investment and loses half their wealth. What happens? They're stressed temporarily, but their brain tells them, I know how to make money, I've done it before, I'll rebuild. And they do, because their neural programming around wealth is intact. Person B wins the lottery. Suddenly, they have more money than they've ever imagined. What happens? Within a few years, statistically, they're broke again. Why? Because their brain hasn't been programmed for wealth. They don't know how to manage it, invest it, or think about it correctly. Their financial thermostat is set to their original income level, and unconsciously, they sabotage themselves back to what feels normal. This is what M.K. Devidasan explores in Train Your Brain to Live Like a Millionaire, a book that reveals the uncomfortable truth. Your financial reality is not primarily determined by your circumstances, your education, or even your work ethic. It's determined by your brain's programming about money. And that programming is running constantly beneath your conscious awareness, driving every financial decision you make. The premise is both empowering and challenging. If you want to become wealthy, you don't just need to make more money. You need to become the type of person whose brain is wired for wealth. You need to think like millionaires think, believe what millionaires believe, and make decisions the way millionaires make decisions. Because here's the part most people miss. Millionaires aren't lucky people who stumbled into money. They're people whose brains are programmed differently around money, opportunity, and risk. Think about this. Why do some people see opportunity everywhere, while others see only obstacles? Same world, completely different perception. Why do some people take calculated risks that pay off, while others play it so safe they never build anything? Why do some people invest in themselves and their growth, while others spend everything they earn on consumption? The difference isn't intelligence. It's not education. Plenty of highly educated people are broke, and plenty of millionaires never finish college. It's not even work ethic. You probably know people who work incredibly hard and are still struggling financially. The difference is programming. Specifically, the neural programming that determines how your brain processes information about money, opportunity, risk, and worth. Your brain has been programmed since childhood, through everything you heard about money, everything you observed about money, and every emotional experience you had related to money. If your parents fought about money, your brain learned that money creates conflict. If your family experienced financial trauma, your brain learned that money is unstable and anxiety-inducing. If you grew up with abundance, your brain learned that money flows easily. If you grew up with scarcity, your brain learned that money is always running out. And here's the kicker. This programming is running your financial life right now, whether you're aware of it or not. Your conscious mind might say, I want to be wealthy. But if your subconscious programming says money is dangerous, or rich people are bad, or I'm not the type of person who has money, guess which one wins? Your subconscious programming controls about 95% of your behavior, including your financial behavior. This is why affirmations alone don't work. You can repeat, I am wealthy 1,000 times. But if your deep programming contradicts that, your brain will find ways to sabotage any wealth you create. You'll make bad investments. You'll spend impulsively. You'll unconsciously avoid opportunities. You'll find ways to return to your financial set point, because that's what feels normal to your brain. Devadasan's approach is different from typical financial advice. He's not giving you budgeting tips or investment strategies, though those matter. He's teaching you how to rewire your brain at the foundational level so that wealth becomes your new normal, so that making money feels natural rather than difficult, so that opportunities start appearing because your brain is finally tuned to see them. The title captures the core concept. Train your brain to live like a millionaire. This isn't about faking wealth you don't have or pretending to be rich. It's about literally training your neural pathways to process money, opportunity, and value the way wealthy people do. It's about reprogramming the operating system that's been running your financial life, usually producing the same results year after year. What you're about to discover will probably challenge some beliefs you have about money. It will expose the invisible programming keeping you stuck. It will require you to examine your relationship with money honestly, including the uncomfortable parts. But if you're willing to do that work, if you're willing to reprogram your brain rather than just trying harder with the same programming, you can fundamentally change your financial trajectory. This isn't get rich quick. This is get rich from the inside out. Because external circumstances change constantly. But the person who builds wealth from the right mindset can rebuild it no matter what happens externally. Let's explore how. Chapter 1. Your financial blueprint. Every person has a financial blueprint, a set of deeply ingrained beliefs and patterns about money that were installed in childhood and reinforced through experience. This chapter exposes that blueprint and shows you how it's controlling your financial reality. Devadasan begins with a powerful exercise. Think about your current financial situation, your income level, your savings, your debt, your financial stress or ease. Now understand this. Your current situation is not random. It's the precise external manifestation of your internal financial blueprint. Your financial blueprint determines your financial thermostat, the income and wealth level that feels normal to you. When you earn below this level, you feel motivated to earn more, and you usually find ways to increase income. But here's what most people don't realize. When you earn above this level, you feel uncomfortable and unconsciously sabotage yourself back down to your set point. This explains why people who get raises often find their expenses mysteriously increase to match their new income. Why people who make windfalls often spend or lose them quickly. Why people can't seem to break through certain income ceilings, no matter how hard they work. It's not external obstacles. It's your internal thermostat saying this level is normal. Anything above this is uncomfortable. The chapter explores where this blueprint comes from. First, direct programming from your parents and family. What did they say about money? Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. It takes money to make money. We can't afford that. Every repeated statement about money became part of your programming. Second, modeling. What did you observe? Did you see your parents stressed about money or relaxed? Did you see abundance or scarcity? Did you see smart investing or constant financial crisis? You absorbed all of this unconsciously, and it became your template for how money works. Third, specific incidents. Did your family experience financial trauma? A bankruptcy, a foreclosure, a period of poverty? These experiences create deep emotional programming. Your brain learned money is unstable and can disappear, or financial security is an illusion. One traumatic incident can create programming that affects you for decades. Fourth, your early experiences with money. Did you get an allowance? Did you have to work for money? Were you taught to save and invest, or was spending the norm? Did having money feel good and empowering, or did it trigger guilt and anxiety? David Dawson emphasizes that your blueprint operates unconsciously. You're not consciously thinking, I should stay at this income level. But your blueprint is constantly guiding your decisions, perceptions, and behaviors in ways that maintain your financial set point. The chapter provides diagnostic questions to expose your blueprint. Complete these sentences honestly. Money is tarnadaik. Rich people are asai. I don't deserve money because having money would make me sard. The reason I can't be wealthy is sard. Your automatic answers reveal your programming. Most people discover limiting beliefs they didn't know they had. Money is the root of all evil. Misquote, but many believe it. Rich people are selfish, so if I'm a good person, I shouldn't be rich. I'm not smart enough to be wealthy. Money changes people for the worse. Each of these beliefs is a block preventing wealth. The chapter also addresses positive but problematic beliefs. Money isn't important, sounds enlightened, but often masks fear or unworthiness around money. I just want enough to be comfortable sounds reasonable, but creates a ceiling on your wealth. These beliefs feel noble, but limit your financial potential. David Dawson introduces a crucial concept. You can't out-earn your blueprint. If your blueprint says you're a $50,000 per year person, you can temporarily make $100,000. But you'll find ways to stay at $50,000 in net worth. You'll overspend, make bad investments, experience unexpected expenses, or lose opportunities. Your blueprint will win unless you change it. The chapter ends with this insight. Your current financial reality is perfect feedback about your financial blueprint. If you're struggling, your blueprint has programming that creates struggle. If you're comfortable but not wealthy, your blueprint has a ceiling. If you're wealthy but anxious about money, your blueprint has scarcity despite abundance. To change your financial reality, you must first change your blueprint. Everything else is just temporary surface-level changes that won't last. Chapter 2. The Millionaire Mindset. Now that you understand your current blueprint, this chapter reveals what the millionaire blueprint looks like, how wealthy people actually think about money, opportunity, and value in ways that are fundamentally different from how broke people think. David Dawson begins with a critical distinction. The millionaire mindset isn't about thinking positive thoughts about money. It's about having an entirely different operating system for how you process financial information and make financial decisions. First, millionaires think in terms of abundance while broke people think in terms of scarcity. This isn't about denying financial realities. It's about your default assumption about money. When a millionaire thinks about opportunity, their brain asks, "How can I make this work?" When a broke person thinks about opportunity, their brain immediately jumps to, "I can't afford that," or "That won't work for me." This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. The abundance mindset looks for possibilities and finds them. The scarcity mindset looks for obstacles and finds them. Same opportunity, completely different perception based on programming. Second, millionaires focus on creating value while broke people focus on trading time for money. This is fundamental. If your only concept of earning is, "I work hours and get paid," you have a built-in income ceiling. You can only work so many hours. Millionaires think, "What value can I create that serves many people?" They build systems, products, services, and investments that generate income beyond their direct time. Third, millionaires see money as a tool, while broke people see money as the goal. When money is the goal, you never have enough. There's always more money to get. When money is a tool for creating freedom, impact, and lifestyle, you make different decisions about how to earn it and use it. Fourth, millionaires invest in assets while broke people spend on liabilities. An asset puts money in your pocket. A liability takes money out. Millionaires put their money into things that generate returns, businesses, real estate, stocks, skills, education that increases earning capacity. Broke people put their money into things that lose value, cars, entertainment, status symbols that provide temporary pleasure but no financial return. Fifth, millionaires embrace calculated risk, while broke people avoid risk or take dumb risks. There's a difference. Broke people either play it so safe they never build wealth, keeping all money in savings accounts, never investing, never starting businesses, or they take stupid risks, lottery tickets, gambling, get-rich-quick schemes. Millionaires take calculated risks. They do due diligence. They don't risk what they can't afford to lose. But they understand that building wealth requires taking chances on opportunities. Sixth, millionaires think long-term, while broke people think short-term. Broke people make decisions based on immediate gratification, spending money they don't have on things they don't need to impress people. They don't like millionaires delay gratification. They invest now for returns later. They sacrifice in the short term for long-term benefit. Seventh, millionaires learn constantly, while broke people think they already know enough. Millionaires invest heavily in education, mentorship, skills, and knowledge. They understand that their earning capacity is directly related to their knowledge and skills. Broke people stop learning after formal education ends, then wonder why their income plateaus. Eighth, millionaires take responsibility, while broke people blame circumstances. When millionaires face financial setbacks, they ask, "What can I learn from this and do differently?" When broke people face setbacks, they blame the economy, their boss, their background. The system blame feels good temporarily, but keeps you stuck. Responsibility is uncomfortable, but gives you power to change. Ninth, millionaires surround themselves with other successful people, while broke people often surround themselves with other broke people. This isn't about being elitist. It's about environment shaping behavior. If everyone around you is broke and complains about money, that becomes your normal. If you're surrounded by people who are building wealth and making opportunities, that becomes your normal 10th. Millionaires believe they deserve wealth, while broke people have unconscious unworthiness. This is subtle but powerful. Many people unconsciously believe they don't deserve to be wealthy. Maybe they feel guilty about having more than their family. Maybe they believe wealth is somehow morally wrong. Maybe they believe they're not smart enough or special enough. This unconscious unworthiness will sabotage every opportunity for wealth. Devadasan emphasizes that these aren't personality traits you're born with. They're learned patterns. The good news, if they're learned, they can be unlearned and replaced. You can train your brain to adopt the millionaire mindset, even if you didn't grow up with it. The chapter provides exercises for each mindset shift. For abundance thinking, practice noticing opportunities instead of obstacles. For value creation, ask, how can I serve more people more effectively? For long-term thinking, make one decision a day based on long-term benefit rather than short-term comfort. The chapter ends with this challenge. Identify which millionaire mindset patterns you're lacking. Be brutally honest. Are you thinking scarcity or abundance, short-term or long-term, responsibility or blame? The patterns you identify as weak are your growth edges. Focus your reprogramming efforts there first. Chapter 3. Reprogramming your subconscious understanding. The millionaire mindset intellectually is not enough. This chapter teaches you how to actually rewire your subconscious programming, the deep operating system that controls 95% of your behavior. Devadasan explains that your conscious mind, your logical, analytical thinking, controls very little of your behavior. Your subconscious mind, the repository of all your beliefs, habits, and automatic patterns, controls almost everything. This is why you can consciously want to be wealthy while unconsciously sabotaging yourself. Your subconscious programming overrides your conscious desires. The key to lasting change is reprogramming the subconscious. But this doesn't happen through logic or information alone. Your subconscious doesn't respond to facts. It responds to repetition, emotion, and vivid imagery. This is why you can read 100 books about money and still stay broke. Reading changes your conscious understanding, but rarely changes your subconscious programming. The chapter introduces proven techniques for subconscious reprogramming. First, affirmations done correctly. Most people do affirmations wrong. They mechanically repeat words without belief or emotion. That doesn't work. Effective affirmations are repeated with emotion, visualization, and consistency until they become automatic. For example, Instead of robotically saying, "I am wealthy," you say it while vividly imagining what your wealthy life looks like, feeling the emotions of financial freedom, and repeating it daily for weeks or months until your subconscious accepts it as true. The repetition creates new neural pathways. The emotion and imagery make it stick. Second, visualization. Your subconscious can't distinguish between vividly imagined experience and real experience. This is why athletes use mental rehearsal. It literally creates the same neural patterns as physical practice. You can use this for wealth programming. Spend 10 to 15 minutes daily vividly imagining your wealthy life. See it, feel it, experience it as if it's already real. What does your wealthy life look like? Where do you live? What do you do each day? How does financial freedom feel in your body? What opportunities are you taking? Make it specific and emotionally real. Do this consistently, and your subconscious starts treating wealth as familiar and normal rather than foreign and impossible. Third, identity level change. This is the deepest level of reprogramming. You don't just want to have money. You want to become the type of person who naturally creates wealth. This means adopting wealthy people's habits, language, and behaviors now before you're wealthy. You start acting as the person you're becoming. This doesn't mean fake it till you make it in ways that create debt. It means wealthy people invest in learning, so you invest in learning. Wealthy people wake up early and have morning routines, so you create one. Wealthy people manage their money carefully, so you start tracking every dollar. Fourth, pattern interrupts for limiting beliefs. When you notice scarcity thoughts, "I can't afford that," "Money is hard to make," "I'll never be wealthy," you don't just let them run. You interrupt them. You consciously replace them with abundance thoughts. "How could I afford that?" "Money flows to value creation." "Wealth is possible for me." This feels forced at first. That's normal. You're interrupting decades of conditioning. But with consistent practice, the new patterns start becoming automatic. You catch yourself faster. The new thoughts come more naturally. Eventually, abundance thinking becomes your default. Fifth, environmental design. Your environment is constantly programming your subconscious. If you're surrounded by negativity, complaint, and scarcity, that's what your brain absorbs. You need to deliberately design your environment to support wealth programming. This means consuming content from wealthy, successful people, reading books about wealth building, listening to podcasts about entrepreneurship and investing, spending time with people who are building wealth, reducing time with people who complain about money and blame circumstances. Sixth, emotional clearing. Many people have emotional blocks around money: guilt, shame, fear, unworthiness. These emotions were installed by childhood experiences and need to be processed and released. If you feel guilty about having money while others don't, you'll unconsciously sabotage wealth. If you have shame about past financial mistakes, that shame will block future success. Devidasan recommends working with these emotions rather than suppressing them. Feel them, understand where they came from, challenge whether they're still true or useful, and consciously release them. Sometimes professional help, therapy, coaching, is valuable for clearing deep emotional blocks. Seventh, acting as if. This is a powerful subconscious training technique. How would the wealthy version of you handle this situation? How would they make this decision? How would They respond to this opportunity or setback. Start asking these questions and acting accordingly. Your subconscious starts treating wealthy you as real rather than fantasy. The chapter emphasizes that reprogramming takes time. You're overwriting decades of programming. Don't expect it to happen in a week, but commit to 30 to 60 to 90 days of consistent reprogramming, and you'll start noticing shifts, different thoughts arising automatically, different opportunities appearing, different decisions feeling natural. The chapter ends with this: your current programming took years to install. Changing it requires patience and consistency. But every day you practice reprogramming, you're building new neural pathways. Eventually, the new pathways become stronger than the old ones, and wealth-building behaviors become automatic. That's when your external reality starts matching your internal programming. Chapter 4: The Language of Wealth. Words matter more than most people realize. This chapter explores how the language you use, both out loud and in your head, either reinforces poverty programming or builds wealth programming. Devidasan starts with a simple observation. Listen to how broke people talk about money versus how wealthy people talk about money. Broke people say, "I can't afford that." Wealthy people say, "How can I afford that?" Same situation, completely different language, completely different brain activation. When you say, "I can't afford that," your brain stops. It accepts that as truth and generates no further solutions. When you say, "How can I afford that?" your brain starts problem solving. It looks for creative solutions, opportunities, and possibilities. The question opens doors that the statement closes. This isn't just semantic games. It's how your brain works. Questions engage your brain's creative, problem-solving abilities. Statements, especially negative ones, shut down that process. The language you use literally determines whether your brain helps you find solutions or keeps you stuck. The chapter explores common poverty language and the wealth translations. Instead of "I'm broke," say "I'm building wealth." Instead of "money is hard to make," say "I'm learning to create value that generates money." Instead of "I'll never be rich," say "I'm becoming wealthy." Instead of "I can't," say "I'm figuring out how to." This might feel like lying if your current reality doesn't match the new language. But remember, your current reality is the result of your old programming. If you keep using old language, you maintain old programming. To create new reality, you need new programming, which requires new language. Devidasan also addresses complaint language. Complaining about money, about not having enough, about taxes, about expenses, reinforces scarcity. Every complaint is a repetition that strengthens the neural pathway of scarcity. Wealthy people don't complain about money. They solve problems and make decisions. The chapter introduces gratitude language as a powerful reprogramming tool. Instead of focusing on what you lack, focus language on what you have and what's working. I'm grateful money flows to me. I appreciate the wealth I'm building. I'm thankful for opportunities to create value. Gratitude language trains your brain to see abundance rather than scarcity. Your internal dialogue matters even more than external language. Most people have constant internal chatter about money, most of it negative. I can't afford this. I'm so bad with money. I'll never get ahead. Why does everyone else have more than me? This negative internal language is programming your subconscious all day long. You need to become aware of this internal dialogue and consciously change it when you catch yourself thinking, "I'm bad with money." Stop and rephrase, "I'm learning to manage money effectively." When you think, "I can't afford that," stop and rephrase, "That's not my priority right now," or "I'm choosing to invest my money elsewhere." The chapter also addresses how you speak about wealthy people. If you say things like, "Rich people are greedy," or "The wealthy exploit others," you're creating unconscious resistance to wealth. Your brain won't let you become something you've labeled as bad. You need to change your language about wealth. Wealthy people create value. Money is a tool for positive impact. Financial abundance allows me to help more people. Davida San introduces wealth declarations, powerful statements you repeat to program your mind. Money flows to me easily and frequently. I am a powerful creator of wealth. Opportunities for financial abundance appear constantly. I deserve to be wealthy. I manage money wisely. My income is constantly increasing. These aren't magic spells. They're programming tools that, with repetition, become part of your subconscious operating system. The chapter provides a 30-day language challenge. Eliminate all poverty language. Every time you catch yourself saying or thinking something that reinforces scarcity, stop and rephrase it as abundance. This requires constant vigilance at first, but it gets easier. Within 30 days, you'll notice your automatic language has shifted significantly. The chapter ends with this insight. You are in constant conversation with yourself. That conversation is either building wealth or reinforcing poverty. Every word is a brick. You're either building a mansion of abundance or a prison of scarcity. Choose your words consciously, because they're programming your future. Chapter 5. Creating Wealth Habits. Mindset creates foundation, but habits create results. This chapter translates the millionaire mindset into specific daily habits that compound into wealth over time. Devidasan opens with a powerful truth. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your habits. Your daily habits, repeated consistently, determine your trajectory more than your occasional heroic efforts. If your daily habits are aligned with wealth building, you'll become wealthy almost inevitably. If your daily habits are aligned with poverty, you'll stay broke no matter how big your dreams are. The chapter explores core wealth-building habits. First, the habit of paying yourself first. Most people pay everyone else, bills, debt, expenses, and save whatever's left, usually nothing. Wealthy people reverse this. They pay themselves first, automatically investing a portion of every dollar they earn and live on the rest. This is about making wealth building automatic, rather than something you do if there's money left over. Set up automatic transfers from checking to savings/investment accounts the day you get paid. Start with whatever percentage you can, even 5% or 10%, and gradually increase it. This one habit, maintained over years, creates wealth. Second, the habit of tracking money. Wealthy people know exactly where their money goes. They track income and expenses, not obsessively, but consistently. This creates awareness, which creates power to make different choices. Broke people often have no idea where their money goes. It just disappears. Use whatever system works for you, apps, spreadsheets, or pen and paper. The method doesn't matter. The awareness matters. When you track money, you see patterns. You see where you're leaking money. You see opportunities to redirect spending toward investing. Third, the habit of reviewing financial goals. and plans. Wealthy people don't just set financial goals and forget them. They review them regularly, monthly, or weekly. This keeps the goals active in their conscious and subconscious mind. It helps them make daily decisions aligned with their goals. It allows them to adjust when needed. Fourth, the habit of continuous learning about money. Wealthy people invest heavily in financial education, reading books, taking courses, attending seminars, working with mentors. They understand that ignorance is expensive. Knowledge is power when it comes to money. Broke people often stop learning about money after inadequate school education, then wonder why they struggle. Fifth, the habit of spending time with wealthy, successful people. Your network is your net worth. If you spend all your time with broke people who complain about money, that becomes your norm. If you spend time with people who are building businesses, investing, and creating wealth, you absorb their habits, beliefs, and strategies. This doesn't mean abandoning current relationships. It means intentionally adding relationships with people operating at the financial level you want to reach. Join groups, attend events, reach out to people you admire. Most successful people are willing to help those who are genuinely committed to learning. Sixth, the habit of delayed gratification. This is the foundational wealth habit, being able to sacrifice short-term pleasure for long-term benefit. Broke people constantly choose immediate gratification, spending money they don't have on things they don't need. Wealthy people delay gratification, investing now for future returns. This shows up everywhere. The broke person sees a paycheck and immediately upgrades their lifestyle. The wealthy person sees a paycheck and immediately invests a portion. The broke person gets a tax refund and goes on vacation. The wealthy person gets a refund and invests it. Seventh, the habit of creating multiple income streams. Wealthy people rarely rely on one source of income. They build multiple streams: business income, investment income, side projects, passive income. This creates stability and accelerates wealth building. Broke people often have one income source, their job, and feel completely vulnerable if they lose it. Start small. If you have a job, create a side income stream. If you have some savings, create investment income. If you have skills, create service income. Don't try to build 5 income streams at once. That's overwhelming. Build one additional stream, get it flowing, then add another. Eighth, the habit of investing in assets, not liabilities. Every time you have money to spend, ask, is this an asset or a liability? Assets put money in your pocket over time. Investments, education that increases earning capacity, tools for your business. Liabilities take money out. Cars that depreciate, consumer goods, status symbols. This doesn't mean never buying anything for enjoyment. It means being conscious. Wealthy people buy liabilities only after assets are producing income to cover them. Broke people buy liabilities first, leaving no money for assets. Ninth, the habit of taking calculated risks. Wealth building requires taking chances, starting businesses, making investments, putting yourself out there. Broke people either play it too safe or take stupid risks. Wealthy people take calculated risks. They do their research. They don't bet the farm, but they're willing to risk to grow. 10th, the habit of giving. This seems counterintuitive, but wealthy people habitually give money away, to charity, to causes they believe in, to help others. This programs the subconscious with abundance. I have enough to share. It also often comes back multiplied in unexpected ways. Broke people often feel they can't afford to give, which programs scarcity. The chapter provides a habit-building framework. Don't try to adopt all these habits at once. That's overwhelming and leads to failure. Pick 1 or 2 habits to focus on for 30 days until they become automatic. Then add another. Building wealth habits is a marathon, not a sprint. The chapter ends with this: habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Small habits, repeated consistently over years, create massive results. The person who saves 10% of every paycheck for 30 years becomes wealthy almost automatically. The person who tracks spending and learns about investing for years builds financial intelligence that serves them forever. Don't underestimate the power of simple habits done consistently. Chapter 6. Overcoming money blocks. Even with the right mindset and habits, most people have deep psychological blocks around money that sabotage their success. This chapter identifies the most common blocks and provides strategies for clearing them. Devidasan begins by explaining what money blocks are. They're unconscious beliefs, emotions, or patterns that prevent you from creating or keeping wealth, even when you consciously want it. You might not be aware of them, but they're operating beneath the surface, sabotaging your efforts. The most common money block: unworthiness deep down. Many people don't believe they deserve to be wealthy. This often comes from childhood messages. Maybe you were told you're not special enough for wealth. Maybe you absorbed guilt about having more than others. Maybe you believe wealthy people are somehow better than you, so you couldn't be one of them. This unworthiness operates unconsciously. You don't consciously think, "I don't deserve money," but your actions reveal it. You undercharge for your services. You don't ask for raises. You sabotage opportunities. You give away money too easily. You can't hold on to wealth even when you make it. Clearing this block requires identifying where the unworthiness came from, challenging whether it's actually true, and consciously choosing a new belief. I am inherently worthy of abundance. My worth is not something I earn, it's something I am. The second major block: fear. Many people have deep fear around money. Fear of losing it. Fear of not having enough. Fear of making wrong decisions. This fear often comes from experiencing financial trauma or witnessing it in family. Your brain learned that money is unstable and dangerous. Fear creates paralysis. You don't invest because you're afraid of losing money. You don't start a business because you're afraid of failure. You hoard money in low-return savings because you're afraid of risk. Fear keeps you stuck in poverty despite good intentions. Clearing fear requires distinguishing between rational caution and irrational fear. Rational caution evaluates risk realistically. Irrational fear sees danger everywhere and prevents any action. You address irrational fear by taking small steps despite the fear, proving to your brain that action doesn't lead to catastrophe. The third block: guilt. Many people feel guilty about having money, especially if they come from families or communities with less. Who am I to be wealthy when others are struggling? This guilt will prevent wealth or cause you to give it all away in ways that don't actually help anyone. Clearing guilt requires reframing. You becoming wealthy doesn't take from others. Wealth isn't a fixed pie. In fact, you building wealth often creates opportunity for others. Your business creates jobs. Your investments create economic activity. Your abundance allows you to help more effectively than when you're broke. The fourth block: Identity conflict. You might unconsciously identify as not a money person, or the broke friend, or bad with money. When wealth contradicts your identity, your subconscious will sabotage it to maintain identity consistency. You need to shift identity at the deepest level. I am becoming someone who builds and manages wealth effectively. The fifth block, relationship concerns. If I become wealthy, people will treat me differently. My friends won't relate to me anymore. My family will expect me to support them financially. These fears about how wealth will affect relationships can unconsciously prevent you from building wealth. Addressing this requires honest evaluation. Some relationships will change if you become wealthy. That's reality. But true friends will support your growth, and you can set healthy boundaries with family. You can't sacrifice your financial future to maintain relationships that can't handle your success. The sixth block, responsibility avoidance. Being wealthy requires responsibility. Managing money, making investment decisions, dealing with taxes and legal matters. Some people unconsciously avoid wealth because they don't want that responsibility. It's easier to just have enough to get by. Clearing this block means recognizing that avoiding responsibility doesn't eliminate challenges. It creates different ones. Financial struggle is also stressful and requires constant effort. The question isn't whether you'll have challenges, but which challenges you prefer to handle. The seventh block, pleasure deprivation. Some people were raised with the belief that pleasure is bad or that they shouldn't enjoy life. They feel guilty about spending money on anything enjoyable, even when they can afford it. This creates a punishing relationship with money where earning it never leads to satisfaction. Eventually, the subconscious rebels against earning money that you won't let yourself enjoy. Clearing this requires giving yourself permission to enjoy your money in balanced ways. Building wealth doesn't mean deprivation. It means conscious spending on what truly brings joy while investing for the future. You can have both. The eighth block, success fear. This sounds paradoxical, but many people fear success as much as they fear failure. Success brings visibility, responsibility, expectations, and potential judgment. If you're successful, people might envy you. They might criticize you. They might expect more from you. For some people, staying small feels safer than standing out. Addressing this means recognizing that playing small doesn't actually keep you safe. It just keeps you unfulfilled. The judgment you fear from success, it's happening anyway. People judge whether you're successful or not. You might as well be successful. The ninth block, scarcity inheritance. You might have inherited scarcity beliefs from your family lineage. Poverty, trauma, and scarcity thinking can be passed down through generations, not genetically, but psychologically. You absorbed your parents' relationship with money, which they absorbed from their parents, who absorbed it from theirs. Breaking this pattern requires recognizing it's not your pattern, you inherited it, then consciously choosing to break the cycle. This scarcity ends with me. I'm creating a new financial legacy for my family line. This is powerful work that benefits not just you, but future generations. The 10th block, money avoidance. Some people are so uncomfortable with money that they avoid dealing with it entirely. They don't look at their bank accounts. They don't open bills. They don't create budgets. This avoidance creates chaos that reinforces their discomfort with money. Clearing this requires forcing yourself to look at your financial reality, even when it's uncomfortable. The more you face your money situation directly, the less power it has over you. Avoidance keeps you powerless. Awareness creates the possibility of change. Devidasan provides exercises for identifying your specific money blocks. Write the sentence, "I can't be wealthy because," and complete it 10 times without thinking. Your automatic answers reveal your blocks. Then challenge each one. Is it actually true? What evidence contradicts it? What would be possible if it weren't true? The chapter also addresses the importance of getting support for clearing deep blocks. Some blocks are so deep or so tied to trauma that working with a therapist, coach, or guide is invaluable. Don't try to do all this work alone if you're stuck. The chapter ends with this truth. Everyone has money blocks. Wealthy people aren't block-free. They've just done the work to clear their blocks or work with them rather than letting the blocks control them. Your blocks aren't permanent unless you ignore them. With awareness and consistent work, you can clear them and free yourself to build the wealth you deserve. Chapter 7. Wealth in Action. Understanding mindset and clearing blocks is essential, but ultimately, wealth is built through action. This chapter translates everything into practical strategies for actually building wealth. Devidasan begins with a fundamental principle. Wealth is created by providing value. Money flows to value. If you want more money, you need to provide more value to more people. This is the foundation that everything else builds on. All the mindset work in the world won't make you wealthy if you're not creating value. The chapter explores different value creation vehicles. First, employment. Most people start here, but there's a difference between working a job with an employee mindset versus an entrepreneurial employee mindset. The employee mindset trades time for money and stops there. The entrepreneurial employee mindset asks, how can I provide so much value that I become indispensable? How can I position myself for raises and promotions? What skills can I develop that dramatically increase my earning capacity? Even if you work for someone else, you can think like an entrepreneur about your career. You can invest in skills that make you more valuable. You can build relationships that open opportunities. You can negotiate based on the value you provide, not just the time you put in. This mindset shift can dramatically increase your employment income. Second, business ownership. This is how most millionaires build wealth, by owning businesses that create value and generate profit. You don't need a massive startup. Most millionaire business owners started small, consulting, services, small products, and grew over time. The key is solving problems for people in ways they're willing to pay for. Devidasan emphasizes starting before you feel ready. Most people wait for perfect conditions, perfect ideas, perfect resources. Wealthy people start messy and figure it out along the way. They don't need perfection. They need action. Test ideas, serve customers, learn what works, iterate, build momentum. Third, investing. Wealthy people make their money work for them through strategic investing, stocks, real estate, businesses. There are many vehicles. The specific vehicle matters less than the principle. Putting money into assets that appreciate or generate income over time. Many people are intimidated by investing, thinking they need thousands of dollars to start. But you can start with small amounts and build. The important thing is starting, learning how investing works, beginning to build the habit, letting compound interest work over time. The chapter provides basic investing principles, diversification. Don't put all your money in one place. Long-term thinking. Don't panic over short-term fluctuations. Education. Understand what you're investing in. Starting early. Time is your greatest asset because of compound interest. Consistency. Regular investing beats timing the market. Fourth, intellectual property. This is an often overlooked wealth vehicle. If you can create intellectual property, books, courses, systems, software, content, you create assets that generate income repeatedly without repeated effort. You do the work once, and it pays you indefinitely. Fifth, multiple income streams. The chapter emphasizes not relying on one source of income. Build multiple streams, so if one decreases, you're not financially devastated. This might mean employment plus side business plus investments plus rental income plus digital products. Start with one additional stream, get it flowing, then add another. Devidasan also addresses scaling your value. There's a limit to how much you can earn by trading time directly for money to dramatically increase income. You need to scale beyond your time. This happens through leveraging other people's time, hiring employees or contractors, leveraging systems, automating processes, or leveraging technology, creating digital products that serve thousands without your direct time. The chapter explores pricing your value appropriately. Many people, especially when starting out, drastically undercharge. They feel guilty asking for what they're worth. They price based on their own income level rather than the value they provide. Wealthy people price based on the value created for the customer, not on what feels comfortable to ask for. If your service saves a business $100,000, charging $10,000 is reasonable, even if that feels like a huge amount to you personally. You're providing value worth far more than your fee. Learning to charge appropriately is crucial for building wealth. The chapter also addresses the importance of financial literacy. You can make a lot of money and still stay broke if you don't understand how to manage it. Learn about taxes. Understand debt, the difference between productive debt that helps you acquire assets and destructive debt that funds consumption. Learn about tax-advantaged accounts. Understand how to protect your assets. Devidasan emphasizes that you don't need to become a financial expert, but you need basic financial literacy. The effort you invest in understanding money will pay returns for your entire life. The ignorance will cost you for your entire life. The chapter provides a framework for wealth-building action. First, increase your earning capacity, develop skills, provide more value, position yourself for opportunities. Second, manage money wisely, track it, budget it, make conscious decisions. Third, save and invest consistently. Pay yourself first, build assets. Fourth, protect your wealth, insurance, legal structures, tax strategies. Fifth, continue learning and adapting. The chapter ends with this: knowledge without action is useless. You now have the mindset, the habits, the cleared blocks, and the strategies. But none of it matters if you don't take action. Start today. Not perfectly, not with ideal conditions. Just start. Make one decision today that moves you toward wealth. Take one action that provides value. Make one investment in your financial future Then do it again tomorrow and the next day. That's how wealth is actually built, through consistent, sustained action over time. Chapter 8. Sustaining Wealth. The final chapter addresses what many miss. Sustaining wealth is a different skill than creating it. This chapter ensures you keep what you build and continue growing it. David Dawson opens with a sobering statistic. Most lottery winners are broke within years. Most professional athletes go bankrupt after retirement. Many inheritance recipients burn through their windfall. Why? Because receiving money doesn't change your financial programming. If your brain isn't wired for wealth, you'll unconsciously sabotage it back to your financial set point. This is why the entire book has focused on mindset and programming. You don't just want to make money. You want to become the kind of person who naturally creates and sustains wealth. That transformation is what makes wealth permanent rather than temporary. The chapter explores principles of wealth sustainability. First, maintain the habits that build wealth. Many people build wealth through discipline, then relax once they have money and lose it through undisciplined spending. Wealthy people maintain their wealth-building habits even after they're wealthy. They still track spending. They still invest. They still live below their means. Success doesn't mean abandoning the principles that created success. Second, protect your wealth. This means insurance, legal structures, diversification, and risk management. One lawsuit, one uninsured loss, one concentrated bet that fails can wipe out years of wealth building. Wealthy people protect their assets through smart legal and financial structures. They don't take unnecessary risks with wealth they've already built. Third, continue learning and adapting. The financial landscape changes, tax laws change, investment opportunities evolve, technology disrupts industries. Wealthy people stay educated and adapt. They don't assume what worked before will work forever. They're continuously learning and adjusting strategies. Fourth, resist lifestyle inflation. This is the killer of wealth for many people. As income increases, lifestyle increases proportionally. They make more money, but save the same percentage or less. They upgrade everything: bigger house, nicer car, expensive habits. Before they know it, their expenses match their income, and they're back to living paycheck to paycheck, just at a higher dollar amount. Wealthy people increase their lifestyle thoughtfully and slowly. They let their income grow significantly before upgrading lifestyle. They maintain a gap between income and expenses, investing that gap. This is how wealth compounds. By not spending everything you make. Fifth, practice generosity strategically. Giving money away might seem counterintuitive to building wealth, but wealthy people are often generous. However, they give strategically to causes they care about, in ways that create impact, often gaining tax benefits. Generosity programs abundance in your subconscious. It says, I have more than enough. But it should be intentional, not impulsive giveaways that undermine your financial foundation. Sixth, pass on wealth wisdom. If you have children or people you mentor, teaching them the principles in this book is one of the greatest gifts you can give. Wealth without wisdom disappears in a generation. Wealth with wisdom compounds across generations. The knowledge about how money works, how to create value, how to manage resources. This is more valuable than any inheritance. The chapter addresses common wealth sustainability mistakes. First, trusting the wrong people. As you build wealth, People will emerge offering to help you invest it, manage it, or partner with you. Some are legitimate. Many aren't. Wealthy people are careful about who they trust with their money. They do due diligence. They verify credentials. They don't invest in things they don't understand just because someone seems credible. Second, making emotional financial decisions. Wealth is built through rational, long-term decisions. It's destroyed through emotional, short-term reactions. Panic selling during market downturns, impulse purchases during emotional highs or lows, investment decisions based on greed or fear rather than analysis. Wealthy people separate emotions from financial decisions as much as possible. Third, forgetting why you wanted wealth. Many people build wealth as a means to an end, freedom, security, impact, lifestyle, and then forget the purpose. They become obsessed with accumulating more money for its own sake. They sacrifice relationships, health, and happiness in pursuit of wealth they'll never enjoy. Sustainable wealth. Building includes regular reflection on why you're building wealth and whether your actions align with those values. David Dawson introduces the concept of enough. This is controversial in wealth-building circles, but it's essential for sustainability. At some point, you need to define what enough looks like for you. Not settling for less than you're capable of, but recognizing when you've reached a level where you can shift focus from accumulation to preservation and enjoyment. Some people never define enough, so they're never satisfied no matter how much they have. They're on a hedonic treadmill, always needing more, but never fulfilled. Defining enough allows you to appreciate what you've built, enjoy it, and focus energy on other meaningful pursuits beyond just making more money. The chapter also addresses dealing with changes in financial situation. Even with good planning, things happen. Market crashes, business failures, economic recessions, health crises that impact earning. Wealthy people understand that financial circumstances fluctuate. They prepare for downturns. They maintain emergency funds. They don't panic when things go south. They adapt, adjust, and rebuild if necessary. This is where the psychological work of the entire book pays off. If you've truly reprogrammed your financial blueprint, you understand that wealth isn't just the money you have, it's your capacity to create value. External circumstances might temporarily decrease your net worth, but if your mindset and skills remain, you can rebuild. Your financial programming is portable and permanent in ways that money itself isn't. The chapter provides a sustainability checklist. Review quarterly. Are you maintaining wealth-building habits? Are your assets protected? Is your spending aligned with your values? Are you investing in continued learning? Are you surrounding yourself with people who support your financial success? Is your financial plan still appropriate, or does it need updating? Are you enjoying the wealth you've built, or are you so focused on building more that you're missing your life? The chapter ends with this vision. Sustainable wealth isn't just having money. It's having a healthy relationship with money that allows you to create it, keep it, grow it, enjoy it, and use it in ways aligned with your deepest values. It's financial freedom that serves your life rather than consuming it. It's the peace of knowing you can handle whatever comes financially. It's the joy of using your resources to create the lifestyle you want and contribute to what matters to you. It's becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts and sustains wealth because your entire being, your thoughts, beliefs, habits, and actions is aligned with prosperity. This is what training your brain to live like a millionaire actually means. Not faking wealth you don't have, not obsessing over money, but fundamentally changing who you are at the deepest level so that wealth creation becomes natural, automatic, and sustainable. You've now learned how. The only question remaining is, will you do the work? And there it is. Train your brain to live like a millionaire, the complete blueprint for rewiring your financial operating system. Let's cut to the core truth you now understand. Your current financial situation is not primarily about external circumstances. It's about the programming running in your brain, beneath your conscious awareness, driving every financial decision you make. You've learned that you have a financial blueprint installed in childhood that creates your financial thermostat, the income and wealth level that feels normal to you. You've learned that millionaires think fundamentally differently about money, opportunity, and value than broke people do. You've learned that your subconscious controls 95% of your behavior, and unless you reprogram it, all your conscious desires for wealth will be sabotaged by unconscious programming. You've learned that your language, your habits, and your daily actions either reinforce poverty or build wealth. You've learned that you have money blocks, unconscious fears, guilt, unworthiness, and limiting beliefs that prevent wealth no matter how hard you work. And you've learned specific, practical strategies for reprogramming every level of your financial psychology and taking action that creates real wealth. But here's where 95% of people who consume this information will fail. They'll watch this video, feel inspired, think, wow, that makes so much sense, and then do absolutely nothing. They'll return to their exact same thoughts, beliefs, habits, and actions, and then wonder why their financial situation doesn't change. They'll wait for circumstances to improve instead of improving their programming. Or they'll try for a week. They'll do some affirmations, read a couple books, maybe track their spending for a few days. And when they don't become millionaires by Friday, they'll decide this doesn't work and return to their old patterns. They'll completely miss that rewiring decades of programming takes consistent effort over months, not days. Don't be that person. You now have knowledge that most people will never have. You understand how financial psychology actually works. You know exactly what's keeping you stuck and exactly what will set you free. The only question is whether you value your financial future enough to do the uncomfortable work of changing your programming. So, here's your action step. Not tomorrow, not when you feel more ready, right now. Pick one thing from this book and implement it today. Maybe it's writing down your financial blueprint and identifying your limiting beliefs. Maybe it's setting up automatic transfers to start paying yourself first. Maybe it's changing one piece of language, replacing "I can't afford" with "How can I afford?" Maybe it's spending 10 minutes visualizing your wealthy life with emotion and detail. One action, today. Then another tomorrow. Then another the day after. This is how rewiring actually happens, through consistent, sustained effort over time. Not through consuming more information. Not through waiting for perfect conditions. Through daily action that builds new neural pathways until wealth building becomes your automatic operating system. And here's the harder truth. This will require you to change who you are, not just what you do, but who you are at the core level. Your identity, your beliefs, your habits, your language, your social circle, your daily routines, all of it might need to shift. That's uncomfortable. That's why most people don't do it. They'd rather stay broke and comfortable than become wealthy and transformed. But transformation is the price of a different result. You can't stay who you are and get what you don't have. You have to become someone different, someone whose brain is wired for wealth instead of programmed for poverty. And that becoming is a process that requires patience, consistency, and commitment. 5 years from now, you'll arrive somewhere financially. The only question is where. If you keep your current programming, you'll arrive at a predictable destination, probably not too far from where you are now, maybe with a bit more income, but the same financial stress because your programming didn't change. If you commit to rewiring your brain starting today, in 5 years, you'll arrive somewhere completely different. Not just financially, but psychologically, because you'll have become the kind of person who naturally creates and sustains wealth. The choice is yours. But it's a choice you make today, not someday. Your future financial reality is being created by your current programming. Change the programming. Change the future. Keep the programming. Keep the future you're already heading toward. If this video revealed patterns in your thinking that have been keeping you stuck, share it with someone who's struggling financially and ready to do the inner work. Leave a comment with the one money block or limiting belief you're committing to clearing, and subscribe for more content that doesn't just give you surface-level tips, but shows you how to fundamentally transform who you are. Your brain is either programmed for wealth or programmed for poverty. There's no neutral. Every thought, every word, every action is either building one program or the other. You now know how to build the wealth program. The only question remaining is, will you? Your bank account 5 years from now is counting on the decision you make in this moment. Choose wisely.